yo. Come on, yo. Slant.
Yeah, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version.
All right, Paulie, let's go.
All right, listen, y'all. Just go ahead and let the guest play. Come on, jeez. That's better. Gotta go.
Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant?
I'm a Mexican.
Hey, pendejo, how you doing? Tran.
Hey, Bendeco, how you doing?
Yeah, that's close enough.
What does that mean?
Oh, that means my real good friend.
Hey, Bendecos, how you doing?
¿Qué pasa con este pendejos, man? Don't
Don't say pendejos, man. But you told me to. Good morning. Hello. Happy Sunday. Surprise slant. And we should have a fairly entertaining show for you this morning. How you guys doing? I hope you're well. I hope you're been having a wonderful weekend of some relative peace and enjoyment, and if you got to see a movie or a good TV show, some good entertainment for you guys. And what we won't be doing this morning, what we won't be doing on the stream, and please say hello as you're getting on in here, we will not be talking about Star Wars at all on the stream today. So that's for this week. Do me a favor, share the link, say hello. Let me put up this. Let me plug my merchandise here. Where is the there it is. It's the t-shirt I'm wearing right now. Very cool. Bam. So yeah, no Star Wars talk at all this morning. None of that silliness. What I will say is I did a video yesterday on Predator Prey. I didn't know it was leaked. I didn't know that trailer was leaked. Well, I did get a copyright claim. I did take out that one spot that they were talking about, but there's a lot that is still there. So I will hit that link in the chat if you guys are interested in Predator. There's a new Predator movie coming out in August, and I have some problems with it, which I talked about in the video, so I will post that. But yeah, this is we're not talking about the usual silliness that just really gets people just really passionate in regards to Star Wars. So let me put that in there. Prey reaction. And thanks for being here. So the big story, or the big thing I'm going to read from today, is a fantastic blog from this gentleman that I just found, and it has to do with the title of this video. The title of this stream is "Chicanismo, being Chicano, dead." And this blog that he wrote, this gentleman, I'm really digging this guy's blog, and uh have subscribed to his, what do you call it? His Substack. It's like a Patreon. I maybe I should let him know that we're gonna talk about him. We're gonna talk about you, eh? We're gonna talk about you, eh? But that's a big one. What I want to do is I wanted to hit a couple of TV shows. One I recommend. One is completely bonkers that I'll get to, and then a podcast. So we're gonna cover a few things. But how's everyone's Sunday morning so far? Where I'm at, it is 9:20 a.m. in the a.m. and we have El Perro. He's here. El Perro says, "Hola, Slant Amigo. Feliz Domingo. We are Americans, not Americans." Vale. That is definitely one way to look at it. And we're going to get into that because I assume the default is that, yes, we all are American. Pero with that, there comes a lot of different definitions of American, and all should be explored and valued. But we're going to get into that. Trust me, we will. And Six is here. Good morning, sweetheart. If you're getting ready for your date, no, you work in the evening, so hello. Did you get any sleep? Okay, let's get to two TV shows from Netflix. One's a hit, one's a disaster miss. And I would argue that the disaster is more addictive. You're probably going to watch that first because it's so bad. It's so bad that it's is it good? God, we'll see. But let's talk about these two Netflix shows. One I recommend. It's called the first one is called Lincoln Lawyer. Okay. Lincoln Lawyer has one season on Netflix. It's 10 episodes. I think I'm around episode 8 or 9. My favorite episode so far is episode 6. And it stars, as you see, Nev Campbell, but Manuel Garcia Rufo, who plays the title character. And you could say, if you remember the movie, he's the McConaughey character. Now, if you didn't know this already, the character, Mickey Haley, is Chicano. He's written in the books as half Mexican, half white. And what I want to do is I'll give you my little pitch on it. But also too, we'll go to the comments that everyone the people's comments, I'm headed to bed now, gotta work in a few hours. Oh, you better get this. Yeah, you better get some rest. But thanks for being here. So it's a legal, almost a procedural legal drama. It was originally set to be on CBS. They passed on it. I think COVID happened and they passed on it. And obviously Netflix took it up, which is cool. Now, is it great? I would say it's really good. I don't know if it's great. I want to save great for those television shows that really stand out, and especially it's a really good first season. There's so far a couple of good twists in their storytelling that I appreciate. I like the characters. let's go to some of the images. Of course, Nev looks absolutely amazing. Best, just as stunning as ever. Now, the title character, who she's the ex-wife to, like I said, is played by relatively unknown Manuel Rufo Garcia. And the way that it's written, the way that he navigates through Los Angeles, through his cases and his clients, his family, with a majority of it in English, he'll throw in Spanish here and there. It is probably just a really great showing of how LA life can be and how it is. And it's within the fabric of the television show that is so rare to see, especially a lawyer who's Chicano on mainstream television. You just don't see this. What you see the majority of the time are either narcos, blood in, blood out types, cholos, or downtrodden in a sense, or even the immigrant, right? Or even the undocumented, as far as, in storylines where they're very subservient characters. That we've seen. And I've talked about it too, as well as the Promised Land, why that was so unique and original. And unfortunately, that was not picked up for a second season. So that is fantastic for Chicanos like myself, because it's just an added value. It's an added value that you just don't get in your entertainment, that I don't get in my entertainment. And I'm, for the most part, I'm fine with it. It's just nice when you see it. And if you don't know the story, basically this character lawyers out of his Lincoln Town car, and that's his daughter. And he kind of navigating through LA, through his town car, and dealing with characters, good and bad, throughout his ventures of his day. I mean, literally one day he's all over LA. Hey, has anyone seen this show yet? Let me know. And if you have, what do you think? Because the majority of the responses of the at least we're here on IMDb, of people and their reviews, is very positive. So I do recommend this television show. Absolutely. But let's go down to the reviews, as far as the people's reviews. Okay. Because I've already given you my spiel as to why I think it's unique, why I think this, I think it's got even potential to be a great television show. It's really good. And I know it, like, before Stranger Things came out, it was number 1 on Netflix. But for a new show, it's been like breaking records, which is great. It's fantastic. And I'm following one of the writers. She had posted that it had broken over, 100 million, hours watched. And you consider this, we're talking about the Lincoln Lawyer, guys, if you guys are just getting here. Consider this, that it's, besides Nev Campbell, it's the lead is a very unknown person. He's been in a few movies you might have seen him in. He was in Denzel Washington's what's that Western that they redid? He was in that. Anyways, So yeah, I totally lost my train of thought. You know what I did? I started looking at the chat. That's what I see. That's what I get. Let's say hello to people in the chat. Shellback. Is this supposed to be the TV version of the Matthew McConaughey movie? Yes and no. It is the same character based off the same books, but it's a more authentic take on the from the books, because in the books the character is a Chicano. Mickey Haley is half Mexican, growing up in Mexico City in LA, like the books. I believe this is the season 1 was based off of one of the books, and there's 4 books. The McConaughey 2 was based off of one book. So yes and no, Shelley. Also 2, unfortunately, because they're different studios, the character of Bosch, who's Mickey Haley's half brother, is not mentioned or referred to in this series. It's that whole thing of Spider-Man being owned by Sony and couldn't be in the Marvel movies for years. That's what's happening here, and that's one of the changes that they made or weren't able to do. I'm hoping actually to interview the writer producer who wrote one of my favorite episodes, episode 6. So I highly recommend this show. It's really good storytelling. Like I said, I'm like, it's taking me a while, like, just because of everything I watched. I'm on episode 8 of 10. But as far as Chicano portrayals where they're not gang members, where they're not, stereotypes, it's so refreshing. And and how he maneuvers and talks with his daughter in English and in Spanish, I love that. You just don't see that, guys. Okay, Miguel Farah. Marty, what have I missed so far? You haven't missed really much. I just started and I haven't gotten to my main topic yet. I'm trying to recommend and talk about 2 shows. So it's good to see you here. Donkey Source Rex, great to see you. Maria, hello. Hello. Look at all the members that are hanging out. I love that. I love that. Ed Brewer, yo, Paulie, what's up, chat? Yo, yo, yo. What's happening, Ed? Good to see you guys. Okay, so I was looking for some reviews, some people's reviews before I get to my next show. That user reviews. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There's over 300 of them. And they're saying winning formula, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Great series, great mood, great, want more, a lot of 9s and 8s. I would give it a strong 7. I would give it a strong 7. And I know that there's like some 5s. It's always some 5s. Gritting our teeth, 5. 8 out of 10, absolutely stimulating. I wouldn't say it was stimulating. Like, to me, a stimulating show, and I'm going to review this one on a separate note, is Pistol by Danny Boyle, and that's on FX. That is very stimulating storytelling. It's about the Sex Pistols. So yeah, this is slick. This is well done. This looks good, and the pace is the pace is great, and it's a great ensemble of characters. Okay, a lot of here's some 2s, and that's just how it is. So even here, right, this successful show has got quite a few 2s and 4s and 10 and 5s. But here's one. Let's read the one. I really did try, but so I really wanted to like this, but I actually kept nodding off and got a good nap. Not a good show. I love the main character from when he was in Goliath, so I had expectations only to be left down. His annoying wife number 2 made me want to take a sharp object to both my eyes. Oh man, that is hilarious. That is pretty funny. That's pretty funny. But hey, we got to show you. We're showing you. This is what people out of the 300. We're showing you. We're showing it all to you. The user reviews, because at the end of the day, those are the users are very, very important. Oh, look who gave us $5. Hello, sweetheart. For being the hardest working Latino on YouTube. Keep slanting, my friend. You rock. What about you? Maria. Didn't she just celebrate like 1 million this and 1 million that, Maria? You are also hardworking, but you know, Latinos are like that. Latinos are like that. So thank you. Let's give you a thank you. Here you go. James Esparza says, so true about the mix of English and Spanish in the household. And you can all these things that we're enjoying, the new sights and sounds of, you know, this donation video. I'm gonna play the closing credits later on. James did all that. Thank you, James. Thank you so much. I thought it was Man on Fire. I don't know what that means. Zax is here. Hola, Zax. And yeah. Share the link. We're hanging out. We just talked about Lincoln Lawyer. Okay, now I do recommend that. Let me get to one where I'm just completely, utterly upset with. It is a huge miss. And it is season 3 of Who Killed Sara? ¿Quién mató a Sara? And oh boy. How do you get this thing off? There you go. Who Killed Sara? Season 3. Wow. Just dropped on Netflix. And it is pure freaking garbage. And I do not say that a lot. Now let's go back. This is a Mexican production. Season 1 and 2 are utterly addictive. So you won't be able to not watch season 3. Season 1 and 2, although very telenovela based, there is a cinematic storytelling to it. The characters were very grounded in all their agendas, not agendas, their overall kind of, driving, well, basically the lead character, right, is out for revenge. But then all these characters have so much going on. And it was very clear. There was some reality in their world that you just accepted it. And it was just such a great ride. Season 1 is almost perfect. I mean, it's such a perfect season. Season 2 is equally good. And basically, this gentleman is trying to find out who killed his sister. And what season 1 and season 2 did so well is their storytelling of the present and the past was just on point. All the characters had something going on point. And good-looking people in this show. Good looking, fine looking people in this show, which never, hey, I'm not gonna hate, including Carolina Miranda, who is just a gorgeous lady, and that's her right there. Yeah, she plays one of the family members, but then falls in love with a guy seeking revenge on her family. So there's this great telenovela thing going on. Great characters, great revenge. But season 3 finally dropped. And season 3 is really awful. And I don't say that a lot. Now, if you watch season 1 and 2, which I really recommend you do, there's no way you're going to not watch season 3 because it's so addictive. It's so addictive. I mean, we burned through season 3 yesterday. Just one. But whereas the heightened reality was acceptable because the storytelling and the acting were so great in season 1 and 2, the hyper reality of season 3 was lost. And what the writers did with each character is they sold them out to just ridiculous scenarios, some disturbing scenarios just to be disturbing, which I didn't appreciate, and to where shit was just so stupid. It was just so ridiculous. Jean Reno, Jean Reno, Jean Reno, the guy who played the professional Leon, the French actor. I didn't know he spoke Spanish. He's in season 3. Let's try to find a photo of him. I actually was impressed, but I mean, his Spanish was great. He, I'll make myself a little smaller. This is Who Killed Sara. Now, while I really dig Jean Reno and I actually liked him in this a lot, his acting, I thought his character and the whole setup of what he's doing in this show was completely awful. Just so stupid beyond repair, beyond storytelling. Right? I'm not, and listen, I'm not I'm not lying here. I'm not being dramatic about this. This is god awful. This is god awful. Just season 3. Season 3. And look, there's some beautiful people here. This is the family. The guy in the middle sitting down is trying to take revenge on most of this family. Caroline Miranda is just the woman on the right. Just look out for her. Look out for her. So it's again, I don't know what the writers were doing, the producers were doing, but they really went for some awful decisions in wrapping up everyone's story in season 3. The show's done, right? And for a kind of a Spanish television show that's kind of novella feeling on Netflix, where it's getting an international audience, it's a huge letdown, man. It's a huge letdown. And I love this actor, Manolo Cadena. What's his name? He's fantastic. But it was just, yeah, that's really all I can say, guys. And that's season 2. We're talking about season 3. Season 1 and 2 are really good. Season 1 is just sublime. And really, that's really all I got. Without spoiling it, I don't want to spoil it. I do want you guys to go check out season 1, season 2, and you're gonna see season 3. But let me just be honest. Just that's the Netflix miss, and I'm sure it's doing really well as far as hours. We'll find out later on, but Who Killed Sara was an absolute disaster. Season 3. Yeah, just ridiculous. But this guy was in season 1. He's really good. These are images from season 1. All right, we'll close that out. And yeah, man. So those are the Netflix hit and miss of this stream that I can recommend. Lincoln Lawyer with a great Chicano lead, great storytelling, very slick production. Lincoln Lawyer, I highly recommend. Who Killed Sara? Season 1 and 2, recommend. Season 3 is just god awful. And I'm not giving any spoilers, although I will tell you there are a few shocking story situations in season 3 that I felt were just completely unnecessary. That they went there was really pissed me off. And because I was liking a lot of these characters in the first seasons. Okay, so before we get to my main story, I would like to say hello to people, and then we're gonna read some. I find this story, this gentleman, and his Substack, his blog, really really good. But let's say hello to some people here. Okay, so Maria was saying, "Oh my God, I love that show." Well, Maria, get back to me after you see season 3. So if you love that show, that 70s rock fan, hello, good to see you. Watched it all. Songwriter that wrote Bosch, so it is amazing. Same writer. Okay, you're talking about Lincoln Lawyer. Okay. It was fun to make, and I got a lot more exciting designs down the pipeline. Yeah, as far as James and his designs, he's done a lot of fun stuff, including this one for us. Here we go. Thank you for that. Okay, so they dropped the avocado on season 3. Oh man. Have you seen season 1 and 2? Just awful, man. War Monkey, hey. Great. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Let me recommend something, and I have it here. Let me recommend a podcast, guys. Let me put it in the chat, and then we'll get to our main story. So there's a podcast on YouTube I've been listening to called Fall of Civilizations, and they take civilizations from all over the world and talk about their fall. And they'll give a good beginning, middle, and end, but it is absolutely incredible, and I'm really impressed. Now with the Latino slant, I'm loving their stuff that they're doing on the Incas, the Mayas, and this one, the Aztecs. This one that this gentleman does, it is a 4.5-hour podcast. 4.5 hours. I absolutely recommend every minute of it. I'm almost thinking of doing a review on it and then maybe time stamping some great moments. So what they do in this 4.5 hours is not only talk about the fall of the Aztecs to the Spaniards, but the history of Mesoamerica going into the Aztec Empire. How our people migrated into the Americas, and everything that has to do with maybe like the shifting of continents. I mean, they go back thousands and thousands of years, because there's meaning all the way to and why they do that, because they also talk about the geography of the Valley of Mexico City, and why it was a lake. It's just so good. Then when they get into the Aztec civilization part of it, they talk about the different kingdoms in the hundreds of years going into the 13th and 14th century. I really, really loved it. Really loved it. And how this triple alliance that became known as the Aztec Empire, the 3 Nahuatl kingdoms, and how they got along, how the Spanish and how Cortez took advantage of that whole situation. The storytelling, yeah, the storytelling, the narration. I just cannot I cannot get enough of this, and I literally have it on repeat because it's so extensive. Like I'll listen an hour or two or hour three. Um, Again, it's a 4.5 hour podcast on the Aztec Empire and its fall. It talks about also where those descendants are at, the Aztec descendants, where Cortez's tomb is at. It's just fascinating. I cannot recommend it enough. So that is my video isn't available anymore. What do you mean? What video? What video are you talking about, War Monkey? You talking about what I put up? Let me see. Oh, maybe you know what? Okay. I think I know what I did. Maybe I didn't here I am talking about this whole thing. And I probably didn't get the entire. Yeah, here we go. All right, let me know if this works. Well, it should work because I'm seeing it right now. But I see what you said. Okay, here we go. Fall of Civilization. And I bring this up because it has a lot to do with my main article that I'm going to read you guys on Chicanismo, on what it means to be a Chicano in comparison to all these other things you might have heard. And I realize, and I love the fact that most of our Slantinos and our memberships are not Latino, are not Mexican American, are not Chicano. And I absolutely love sharing this information with you guys. And I'm sharing this right here. If you guys want an extensive history on the Aztec Empire, it's not just the fall of this civilization, it's the creation, it's how they thrived. It talks about the different kings, it talks about their good sides and their bad sides, all of it. And the story of Cortez and Moctezuma and their battles. Oh man, it is just. Where's my movies on this? Where are my movies on this? So yeah, there you go. Okay, James Esparza, very nice. I love this kind of stuff. I just finished a shallow dive into the Norse culture. I'm very interested in Aztec and culture and civilization. Yeah. Well, one thing that's so funny that you say that. One thing I did not know. One thing that I did not know about the Aztec warriors and the shaman is how heavily they were into mushrooms, just like the berserkers. And I have to believe that was one of many elements to their fall, to their demise, was that they trusted too much in their kind of like magical spirit, shaman leaders who could not do a thing to stop Cortez, but all they would imagine was that the Aztec Empire, it's all going away. And the warriors and the leaders, man, they were just all high on shrooms. Yeah, I mean, listen, just listen to it. But again, that's a connection with the berserkers there. Okay. And Shellback is Chicano on the inside. Orale. I know you are. Hey, Mr. Tickle Chunk. Okay, let's get to our main story. Thank you guys for joining me here on a special Sunday slant. We've talked about some hits with Netflix as far as their programming and Latino portrayals. I think Lincoln Lawyer is a really solid hit and something very different that you don't see, which is a Chicano lawyer in a mainstream television story. You just don't see that. Here I've mentioned and recommended this Aztec podcast. And the descendants are people like myself and people like this gentleman. and he's got it's a Substack. It's a blog called Brownlisted, who is documenting the Chicano experience in the modern era. More on the slow death of Chicanismo in El Movimiento. And this is Carlos Cantana. This guy is an editor and a publisher. He's got his own independent press, and he is a writer as well. Okay, so let's read some of this. Let's make this a little lighter. Nice. And then we'll get to your comments. I promise. We'll get to your comments. I'll read a few paragraphs and then go back and forth. Does Chicano studies even exist in 2022? And if so, what are they reading teaching these days? And yes, I'm aware that if you search for it, you will find current programs, but I asked this question as someone who, by pure accident, published a few books that ended up being part of various Chicano studies curriculums. However, since becoming excommunicated from academia and for not shining shoes or playing grab ass with various eggheads, and for not having the right politics, I have lost touch and contact with people from that world, hence being brownlisted. And it had dawned on me that unless there is a secret society of writers publishing new works about the modern Chicano experience, then almost no one is chronicling this era. Okay, so two things. This link is in the video description, and I myself as well minored in Chicano studies many decades ago. So there's a direct, for me, a very this hits me right to my heart. This hits me right to my heart. And let's keep reading. I say almost because I count myself among maybe a handful of writers who still write about Chicanismo on a regular basis, but none of us are mainstream or known. All of this shit is underground, but that suits me just fine. Still, if no one is writing about this era, then was it all for nothing? And is Chicanismo finally dead? There are more important questions, but they largely go unanswered or even asked. I guess what I'm asking is, when the Rudy Acuñas of the world are no longer, who will the torch be passed on? Or will there even be a torch to pass? Does anyone give a shit? Okay, well, I give a shit. That's why we're doing this. Rudy Acuña wrote a book called Occupied America. And in Occupied America, it's a fantastic history of the Mexican American, the Chicano existence for the last couple of hundred years. It's fantastic, hard-hitting read. I highly recommend it. Okay. Let's go on. Let's read one more and then we'll get to your comments. I used to think Drink Cultura for an image here. I used Drink Cultura for an image here because it's widely read, known for its musings on Chicanismo. The trouble with this book, it was published in the early 90s and its essays are from the 80s. Like my own experience, that is far removed from the shit show we call today. Who's writing about the Chicano experience of today? And more importantly, what is the Chicano experience of today? Now, let's stop. Let's stop for a second. Let us use the definition from journalist Ruben Salazar from 1970 of what a Chicano is. A Chicano is a non-Anglo view of a Mexican American. It's how a Mexican American views himself in a non-Anglo set, right? So what does that mean? Well, it can be as complicated as defining the soul. Let's just, for our sake of discussion in this, let me say one, a Chicano is born in the United States. They're not born out of the United States. We're not Mexican because we're not born and raised in Mexico. It's a completely different experience. A Chicano will usually be very anti-establishment, very non-trusting of the government because of the history of the government and the Chicano people. Usually, Chicanos are from the southwest of America, but as we know, that's also Chicago, Midwest. The Chicano politics can be very left-wing to a point of a socialist purview, not wanting anything to do with capitalism. Now, I say that because Chicanos can be completely conservative as well, even still being non-trustworthy, maybe even libertarian, but defiant, stubborn, and speaking their own mind. Also, too, a Chicano can be non-political. A Chicano can be defined in their fashion, in their music, in their car culture. Okay? All right. So let's oh, you know what? Let's see what you guys have to say. Okay. Okay, he's talking about the he's talking about the okay, James taught. Yep, I'm a descendant of Spanish and Aztec. One of my ancestors was part of the second wave of Spanish that came and did with all the conquest of Mexico. Current programs are half a joke. You mean Chicanx? Oh my God. USA, War Monkey. So that's interesting, right? Because let's just keep reading. Let's just keep reading. But thank you guys for your comments. Please smash the like, share this. We are knee deep in an article called Who is Documenting the Chicano Experience? Okay, here we go. Truth be told, a lot of shit has gone down these past few years where the Chicano experience is concerned, but I see few, if any, people documenting any of it. Shit. Just these past couple of years, we've seen national Chicano organizations dropping the words Chicano, Aslan, Raza, because they were deemed homophobic, anti-black, and anti-indigenous by the wokosos running these organizations now. This is a radical shift, but it barely made a blip on the Chicano radar. Who will write about the fallout? Let me start that again. Who will write about the fallout from Black Lives Matter and the wholesale shaming, division, and death of Chicano self-determination? When we talked about self-determination, when I defined Chicanismo, right? We're self-determined. No one, especially the bigger society in culture of America is going to define us. We define ourselves because we as a people, the Chicano people, have been completely ignored, invisible for the existence of since the Southwest became the United States. So this self-determination this goes beyond it speaks to your soul. Who will document the co-opting of the Chicano movement by LGBT and trans activists, which ended up diluting and erasing almost everything fought for and made the primary force on gender? Who will write about the fallout from all of the old school organizations selling out and kneeling to the colonization of the Latinx invaders? Who will write about the wholesale rewrite of our history by extremists, by the media, by the Hollywood and the politicos? And there's so much more, but you get my point. Who's documenting this shit? Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic writing. I love it. I love it. You guys got anything? Okay, no comments yet. That's all right. Let's make this bigger. Okay. I see the word Chicano and I see the word Chicano used a lot on social media and embraced by younger people, but that's about as far as it goes. It's like a costume. Some people play dress up or cosplay. Some use hashtags. Some have clothing lines. Others are oldies and nada más of much substance. As for many people that want to call themselves Chicanos, there are very few who actually are putting in the work. No one wants to get their hands dirty anymore. No one is documenting our experience. This has resulted in Hollywood, the media, politicians, and other corporations taking our culture and bastardizing it in order to sell shit or gain political support. Long gone are the days of resistance. Chicanos today, by and large, are just another group of passive consumers. I could go on and on, but I wanted to put this out there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are gente out there chronicling this era of the Chicano experience in all its ugliness. But if that's the case, I don't see it. All I see is more and more of our people lost and without any kind of leadership. I see division and deception. I see a once proud people reduced to mere consumers. We have no voice, and yet we are taken for granted by the powers that be, who see us as docile and easily controlled. And so we are. Man, I have to tell you, I'm really digging this writing. Let's see what you guys have to say. I always thought Chicano meant Mexican American. Philip Gaming. I guess I'm Chicano. There are some Chicano shows and movies out there. I love watching Mayans MC. How you doing, Philip? Good to see you, man. Okay. And I have the link to this article in this gentleman's brown-listed Substack in the video description. I myself have paid for his subscription. There's a lot of great articles. There was another one I wanted to read, which is even longer, but wow, I love that one. Okay, where are we? Okay, of course, everyday Chicanos still exist, struggling and continuing on despite all of this chaos. But we are marginalized, not by the man, but by our own doing. Let me read that again. But we are marginalized, not by the man, but by our own doing. So I ask, who's recording the modern Chicano experience? Because as far as I can tell, there is no one at the wheel any longer. And for all the Chicano studies programs that may or may not exist, I couldn't tell you what they are teaching these days. It certainly has nothing to do with self-determination. And for all the feathers I may ruffle by shedding some light on these things, I have to say that I'm an aging Gen X Chicano. I'm starting to feel a lot like Robert Neville from Richard Matheson's I Am Legend. He was the last of his kind in a world of monsters who moved on without him, and so they wanted him dead. They could not allow him to exist because it offended their existence. Or maybe we're like Jedi, scarce and in hiding, powerless to the Wokoso Empire who has taken control and erased our history. Sounds silly, but the parallels are there. These Wokosos do not like that we still exist, but we do. They tried and succeeded in many ways to erase and rewrite our history, but there's still a few of us that are here to kick dirt in their faces and set the record straight. Or maybe I'm just a weird and outdated old man clinging to a history that doesn't exist anymore. I am more than willing to admit that whatever the case, I will continue to write about my own experience for better or for worse. Ike, CS, which means Gonzafos. I really, really connect with this ending. I think it's fantastic. What are your thoughts here to this gentleman's writing? I think there's a lot of legitimacy to what he's talking about. To everything being, everything's got to fall under the right politics of mainstream society in Hollywood. And if you disagree, they want you dead. They don't want you to exist. It's just that plain and simple. And that plain and simple is what I think Sarlos has written about. That's why I'm doing this live stream. Okay, let us. I've seen a lot of people of different race be considered Chicano, as usually because they embody the culture, usually food. Let us all remember that Chicano food isn't really one thing, but an entire family of different gastronomic traditions. How you doing, Miguel? With different amounts of basil, Spanish substrate and local substrate in each case. Just another red shirt. It's a member of the channel. I like Mexican from Mexico better than Mexican from Texas, but don't tell anyone. What do you think of this article? Just another red shirt. You know, what do you Slantinos who aren't Chicano or Latino think about this? I think you have more in common with this gentleman than not. Definitely more in common than the Latinx rhetoric. 100%. Okay, these guys are let me see. Shellback. What they're teaching these days, if you're white, you're an oppressor, everyone else is the oppressed and the victims. Well, the history is there, Shellback, but yeah, I don't see how that's your problem. I don't see how it's, you know, what am I to lay the blame on your feet? That's ridiculous. Satan West, college Chicanos and lots of the youth are too woke and leftist, but the average Chicanos I meet are more conservative leaning, religious, hardworking, traditional family values, patriotic, etc. So that's interesting, Satan. It's interesting, Satan. It's very interesting because a lot of the Chicano youth from academia want nothing to do with the Chicano youth from the barrios, you know, that are maybe part of cultures that they're embarrassed of, whether it be lowrider culture, cholo culture, that don't have that are, like you said here, conservative leaning. Because I definitely have my conservative leanings on some issues. I am very liberal on other issues. That's just how I'm made. And yeah, that's great. Great comment. Philip, a lot of Mexico is really Chicano food. The burrito isn't from Mexico. You're absolutely right. People also forget, Miguel Farah, people also tend to forget that Mexico itself, even after losing half its territory, has a rather diverse culture. Very, very diverse. Absolutely. James Esparza, there's a lot of truth there. As a Chicano raised in a 100% Mexican neighborhood in the desert far from the city, we have never really had much of a voice in my time. Yeah, man. Yeah. That's that's a great comment. That's a great comment. Because and let me go back to this gentleman's page, and the link to his Substack is in the chat, is in the video description. Brownlisted. Here's some of the things that we just read. Who's documenting the Chicano experience? Go down to here. Sounds of Califas. What is Chicano? Part 1. I loved this blog. This I love this one, and it's a little longer, so I didn't want to do this, you know. But here's that infamous definition from Ruben Salazar: a Chicano is a Mexican American with a non-Anglo image of himself, right? Of himself. And so what does that mean? I'm going to be real simple with you. It's not Taco Tuesday. It's tacos every day. Meaning, don't just subjugate me to this one particular purview that you might have, because, you know, this is my daily experience. Fantastic stuff, man. Fantastic stuff. You know, thank you for everyone's great comments. But this is let me get this gentleman's link in here. Thank you guys for checking us out. Copy. This is the Brownlisted. Let me get in here. Brownlisted. Okay, there you go. I put it in there. Regarding the article, many cultures in the U.S. are under assault. Multiculturalism doesn't allow for sharing of cultures, culture appropriation. A culture is suppressed unless it can be exploited. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I think that's a main driving force and a main pillar of the slant is the sharing of everything that we got going on with each other, right? And um we're not talking about our pop culture entertainment, and yet we are, right? From, like we said, uh, Star Wars to X-Files to all the stuff that I love. I'm looking around here on the slant. I've gotten to share with you um, Latino musicians, writers, actors, culture, and ultimately, someone had said earlier, USA, USA. Ultimately, we're all under that banner, whether you like it or not. And I'd rather share this. I'd rather share, as I have shared, the fact that I'm speaking English or Spanish. That's not part of my indigenous makeup. And at the end of the day, I may never know what my indigenous makeup is because I'm not from a direct tribe. Now, I might say Chicano, which I do, but I don't know if I'm Mexica. Mexica is just one of many tribes and kingdoms that existed. I don't have the advantage of being a Native American here, where you might know your direct tribe in your blood lineage. A lot of Chicanos don't. Some do. As far as your indigenous background, and that's great. So this is fascinating. I love this stuff. Hello, Cheetah. Love 210. My wife is from Veracruz, and I love the family. Veracruz, man. Okay, Cheetah. Cortez named it Veracruz because that's where they had landed. And Veracruz is very pivotal in this story of the podcast that I had recommended. Veracruz has amazing food and amazing music. Veracruz is the birthplace of the song, and many songs like it, La Bamba. So fantastic. Yes, tacos for all. Tacos for all. Pastor. I'm a pastor guy myself. Oh man, I love pastor. I love pastor. Cool. That's great. Adobada. Adobada tacos are awesome. I'd love for a movie to be made about Vicente. Ooh, yeah, man. We did a stream on Vicente over a year ago with Lorena Creo, and I forgot who else. But we did a look it up on my playlist, on my videos, on two Mexican Latin Afro Mexicanos, Jenga and Vicente Guerrero. So right on. That would be a good story. I did a DNA test. It said my native Mexican origins from Western and Eastern Jalisco. So then from there, that's pretty badass. Then from there, you can go to Jalisco and maybe do a little groundwork. Find out what tribe you're from. Wouldn't that be amazing? And let me tell you, many kingdoms and tribes were very unhappy with the Mexica people, the Aztec kingdom. And it got to a point where there was just too much human sacrificing, paying huge taxes to the Mexica people, to where over 1,000 warriors of different tribes fought with Cortez to take them out, to take the Mexica people out. Also some Central America, yeah. I know actually my wife was from Jalapa, and it existed before Cortez came. Jalapa. That's an indigenous name. That's great, man. See, that's fantastic. That's more your Mexican indigenous experience, which Chicanos yearn for that connection. That's great. Yeah, dude, warfare is a way of life back then, and division ruled the day. Yeah, yeah. Well, they were mad warrior cultures. There were most kingdoms in Mesoamerica were from that of that spirit, that warrior spirit. That's why at that time weapons were made for capturing your the people who you're going to war against, because you didn't kill them on the battlegrounds. You killed them in the sacrifice. You took them as prisoners, and you know then the killing happened. But that's why there wasn't a lot. Even though the obsidian blade was pretty deadly, but they captured their a lot of their enemies. I think Puerto Veracruz should be in more movies because many battles happen there, and it's a beautiful connection. Cheetah, thank you so much for being here, man. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and check out all those video links that I was talking about. Well, that's really it for today, guys. I really wanted to do a very targeted slant on these issues because the last few weeks have been so much either about pop culture or Indian cinema from India, other than Chicano and Latino stuff. So I really wanted to do this special stream for you guys, and I thought this morning would be a nice morning to do that and talk about it all. I'm also happy to say that I got my new computer, and this baby is amazing. You can't see it's right here. It's sitting on my desk. It's a Mac Mini, and I cannot be happier. It's quite a hefty price, but we're putting it to good use now. All right, what is coming up for me this week? Okay, we'll have some new videos. Here's some of my video subjects, things I wanted to do. For the members, we're going to do a movie night. We'll set that up. I think we're going to see either the movie Amores Perros or Y tu mamá también. Y tu mamá también. That's just with the members. So when you're a member, you get to watch movies with us. Sometimes I bring in a musician. We have concerts. Okay, so that one. I want to review the Sex Pistols television show that's currently on FX called Pistol by Danny Boyle. It's only 6 episodes. I've already through 3. I am thoroughly enjoying myself. So I'm going to get that review out to you. I want to do a compare and contrast video of, and I have to see the movies. I haven't seen them yet, but the movie's called 3 Idiots, and originally it's a movie from India, but then Mexico redid it like maybe a year or two ago called Tres Idiotas. So I need to see both of the films. Then we'll do a compare and contrast video on that. And really, that's it. Besides our live stream we're going to do this Wednesday with Tom Conkle. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you got that alerts. It's really good to see people I haven't seen here in a while. Like Philip. Great to see you, dude. Great to see all the members as well. Cheetah Love says Cinco de Mayo does have a movie called Cinco de Mayo La Batalla, the battle. Is that from Mexico? If that's the one, I don't think it's a very good film. From what I remember reading about, I haven't seen it. You're saying, unfortunately, it has excessive shaky cam. I can't stand that. I cannot stand that. I am subscribed. I'm actually a gringo, very interested in Mexican culture. Well, hey, if your wife is from Veracruz, and all hats off to you, man. Any idea why there hasn't been a Vicente Guerrero movie? Let me slow down. Any idea why there hasn't been a Vicente Guerrero movie made yet? It would be epic. That's a very great question. You would think too, in this age, that would go very well. Vicente Guerrero became one of Mexico's first presidents, and he ended slavery in 1827, I believe, and that caused a lot of problems with the people in Texas. And there's a whole history of that. And yes, I think that that's fascinating. That history eventually led to the Mexican-American War 20 years later. So that is a great, that would be a really good, yeah, it's from Mexico. That Cinco de Mayo movie. Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that movie. Yeah. I'd much rather see a Vicente Guerrero film. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed what we talked about. If you guys missed it, I recommended the television show Lincoln Lawyer. I cannot recommend season 3 of Who Killed Sara. It is absolutely awful. I recommend season 1 and 2. The problem is season 1 and 2 are so addictive that you're gonna watch season 3. So buyer beware. I also recommend the Aztec podcast, Fall of the Fall of the Aztec Empire. It's in the video description. And finally, we read that story from Brownlisted. Absolutely great article. And video, all the links are in the video description. Do you have social media? We are on Twitter and Instagram. So just hit Latino Slant, Paulie Latino Slant. That would be perfect for Rodriguez. That might be fun if he did a Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, anything that has to do with battles, that would be cool, kind of cool. He needs to do something like that. Like a Rodriguez Cinco de Mayo battle movie. That might be fun. Okay, guys, let me bring up, if you're a member of the channel, my mom, she texts me. I think she's listening. She said, "Go mushrooms, peyote." Ha ha. Oh my God. That is hysterical. I got the new closing credits. Let's get it ready for you guys. And James Esparza, thank you for the music and for the video imagery on this. Let's bring it up. Windows, QuickTime, share. I gotta do a thing. Okay, well, that doesn't work. Give it to Mel Gibson. Well, Mel Gibson kicks some ass, man. Definitely can kick some butt. Okay, here we go. Add the stream. All right, wait a minute. Is this the right one? Okay, I don't think that's the right one. Remove. Let me see. Share video file. I'm trying to get the right one. Oh, let's go to downloads. What happened to it? Oh man. Hold on a second, guys. Trying to play the closing credits for you. Closing credits. All right. Well, where's it at? And James did some great music for these closing credits, man. Let me see. Let me end this here. Remove. Oh. that I'm not good at this stuff. Sorry, guys. Desktop. But that's not the right one. Recent. Closing card. Okay, here we go. Jeez, Louise. Okay, here you go. Thank you, guys. Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy. Keep your slam fuerte. Thank you, Diego Flores, co-producer. Here is the members roll call: Sanders and Zoltan, James, Dwayne, it's Courtney, Salty Texas, Daryl the Derelict, Maria, Blair, Toxic, Daryl, Alejandro, Monica, Red, CCDV, Netters, Cardinal Sin, Zax, Aiken, Shanatsky, Darth, Matey Boo, V-Star, Mike's Likes Tacos, Aged Boomer, Eclay, AFK, The Jack, Cyber, Uriel, Douglas, Arrum, Debop, Reggie Johnson, Just Another Red Shirt, he's here, Darius, Lord Thoth, Mags, Culture Casino, Valiant, 32, Clobbering. Those were the soldiers. Here's the Capitanes level. Brandon, Johnny Gonzalez, Troy Pacelli, Eric, K-Pop, Jake D, RC, and now our generals, the highest level here that we have. Thank you so much. 6, Mexican, deleted at 70s, and DD Myers. There's our merch, all that good stuff. Muchísimas gracias, everyone. Hope you liked it.